And welcome to another edition of Odyssey House Journals. I'm Trip Mitchell, and that is Randall Carlisle.
You got my name right. You always want to say Randall Cunningham.
I did some games in Vegas with Randall Cunningham, who was a wonderful quarterback at UNLV.
Yes.
And went on to have a distinguished pro career.
Yes, he did.
And was considered the greatest running quarterback for a long time.
Yeah, he was great.
Since then, a couple quarterbacks have come up who were pretty good at running.
Absolutely.
And but the point of this show is not to know your name properly.
No.
It's to talk about addiction and
recovery.
And that's what we do each and every week. And we have met some amazing people on the show who have gone from the lowest of the lows
to the highest of the highs.
And then,
well, that's not a good word to use.
Yeah,
talking about recovery, is it?
Okay, good point. Good point. We might have been a little insensitive there.
And you and I have talked about it, and I thought it might be useful to maybe just mention a news event or an article that refers to the topic or something before we meet our guest each week. And about a month ago, and I think this is worth mentioning, and even though it seems like we have been inundated with news about naloxone and overdose deaths, we got an alert from the Utah Department of Health about a month ago saying that there's been a rash of overdose deaths. In the first 3 weeks of January, there were 9 overdose deaths in the 84115 zip code alone. And their point was that if you know anybody who is doing opioid pain pills or is addicted to heroin or the pain pills or whatever, get some naloxone to save them. You know.
And naloxone is truly a lifesaver. And there's no reason that people shouldn't have it. Police have it, firemen, ambulances, a lot of parents have it. Wives, we've seen stories of wives whose husband might be taking an opioid for pain.
A pain pill and forget about when he took his last one or whatever. You know,
I've done that.
Well, all of us have.
Yeah, I mean, literally.
And you can get them free at a million different places. The best place to go online is just Google Utah naloxone. It's run by a doctor, a pediatrician up at Primary Children's, Dr. Jennifer Plum,
who's an amazing woman.
Yeah, and it just makes sense. And the cool thing about, we have this Good Samaritan law. So if you happen to walk on the street and see somebody passed out and you think they might be suffering from a opioid overdose, you can give them a shot of naloxone, and if that wasn't what they were suffering from, they can't sue you, and naloxone can't hurt you no matter what you're suffering from. So if you were having a heart attack and you gave somebody naloxone,
it's not going to make things
worse. It wouldn't make any difference. But naloxone can't make you high. You can't get addicted to it. There are no harmful side effects. If you or I got a shot of naloxone right now, we wouldn't feel anything. So why not have it? I have some in my house.
I should have it in my car.
Well, you should when you're driving around. So anyway, I mean that's the.
And I read 2 years ago about a sheriff in Ohio outside. He was in a county outside Cincinnati, and they have a tremendous problem with opioids.
Yes.
And he didn't want his deputies to carry naloxone in their cars. And that, to me, is the most horrible attitude.
So, I mean, some people say, well, does it encourage addiction? Or
oh, sure, yeah.
And it's like, no, you're saving lives. That's what we're talking about here. So, I mean, it's just a word. Do you have a fireplace here?
Yeah, we actually have the fan on.
I'm hearing a noise.
That's our fan. Oh, wait.
Oh, my God. Look at.
Okay, well, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to figure out what that disturbing noise was. And welcome back to Odyssey House Journals. Trip Mitchell, Randall Carlisle. We have put our private eyes hat on to try to figure out.
Oh my God! It's Santa Claus.
Isn't Santa normally
Santa?
Yeah, I've got my Swedish look on.
Swedish look today.
Yeah, the Nordic Santa.
So you're done. I mean, Christmas is several months away, so you're done with your work.
Either way.
Yeah.
No, I'm never done with my work.
So
you just like think I'm done with my work.
Did you stop by our studio because we've been good boys and girls?
Yeah, you're as good this year as you were last year. And you're getting the same as you did last year. So,
Santa,
just feel the love. Feel the love.
The first year I ran into Santa, he gave me a lump of coal. And then when he found out about my sobriety, he's been bringing me gifts ever since.
So how did you end up at our studio today? Do you have in your sleigh? Do you have like MapQuest? Do you have Siri? How do you get around?
Siri, Google Map. I mean, it's great compared to the way it used to be. You had to memorize all the addresses in the world, and geez, it was just like nuts.
That's why his hair turned white.
So we should be. You're a young man. How many 100 years old are you?
6.
6.
But, who's counting, right?
Isn't he? And I got to tell you, I don't suppose too many kids watch this show, but his real name is Fred Ling. Okay, and I have gotten to know
the cat's
him.
Out of the bag now.
Yeah, well, the little kids who run into you, I think.
Thank you very much.
So
yes,
I guess we need to be honest about this whole thing.
We do,
and Fred has for several years worked with the homeless community when they've had outreach projects at Christmas down on Rio Grande. He's come to for 2 years in a row, he's come to our Parents with Kids facility for a Christmas party every year. And he is listen to his voice. See, I mean, and he's so good with kids.
You're a professional.
But both Randall and I would like to have pipes that deep.
Yeah, exactly.
When I have a cold, I approach your deepness for 2 days, then I get healthy.
See, I'm unhealthy. So, okay. Fine.
One of the things I've loved about you, Fred, is how good you are with kids. And obviously looking like Santa Claus and sounding like Santa helps.
It helps a lot.
But your interactions with them, because we have a lot of kids who aren't real happy necessarily all the time being in our Parents with Children program, and they light up with you.
No. What happens is this. First of all, I'll tell you, I got the best seat in the house. And as soon as the kids see me, everything just fades in the background, and it's beautiful because they live in the moment. And so all I got to do is show up. I got the white beard. And
when they're pulling it,
unless they get like 2 hairs, and then it's like, wow.
The key is
but when if they grab the whole thing, then that's fine. But so what happens is, like with the kids, when I come in and I see the kids, there's just an instant reaction, and it's beautiful. And then what I found when I come into Odyssey House is that these are people that are reuniting as families. And the parents have gone through their program or are going through the program. They've made changes in their lives. They're feeling good about themselves. And they're feeling good about their family and their prospects. So your timing
couldn't be better in some respects.
It can't be better. I know. And that's perfect. So you play off of that. And then when I get there, though, the thing that I want to do is the kids are the kids. And that works out really well. But I know that there are a lot of parents that have the weight of the world on their shoulders. Mm-hmm. Because it's Christmas time, and here they want to provide for their family. There are things that they wish they had the ideal Christmas.
Sure.
If you want to, however you want to put that, right?
Yeah.
The Hallmark Christmas, and they got the weight of the world. And one of the things that I want to do, and I think you've seen this, is I love to pay attention to them.
Yes.
And to make sure that they know that they're loved and that they're supported. And
the coolest thing is that when a parent is going through recovery,
yes,
they are about to give their child the greatest gift of all.
Yes,
and that gift,
their child may not know that at the time.
But they can't help but pick that up. I think.
Oh, sure.
Because last year when I came, and I think I've told you this, that there was one of the ladies. What they did was all the kids come sit on my lap and they give them teddy bear and that sort of thing. And then someone came up near the end and said, "Hey, we've got some parents here. I don't know if you know this, but they're expecting, and so can they sit on your lap too?" And no problem. And so we visit, right, and we talk about their recovery and that sort of thing. And one of the women that came, she was due on about the 20th of December, and so I said, "Okay, look, this is what we're gonna do. If you have this baby before Christmas, then give me a call, and here we exchange numbers and that sort of thing. And I'll come over and we'll get the baby's first picture with Santa."
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. And so on Christmas Eve then of last year, right, I went over, she had the baby, and her mother was there, her family was there, and they were all gathered around. And it was absolutely beautiful, because one of the things that I saw is that she had a good support group. And so I was able to go in and to meet with mom and, to say, and I didn't know her all that well, but in the end, I know some of the things that she'd gone through, and to tell her, I'm extremely proud of your daughter and the things that she's doing in her life. And this is going to change not one life, but 2 lives, right? And she said that she decided to go into the Odyssey House when she found out that she was pregnant, because she wanted to make sure to change her life for the baby. Now, what's happened is we've kept in touch over the last year, and she's making great strides in her life. There's challenges. In fact, just the other day, I saw a message from her that she was facing some challenges, but that's okay. That's part of life.
Yeah, it doesn't.
As long
get
as you're
to be,
facing the challenges.
Yeah, it
right?
doesn't get to be easy. And
No.
there's in recovery, there's a term called the pink cloud, which is where you're going through recovery, and then all of a sudden the weight of the world is lifted off your shoulders.
Yep.
And everything looks rosy.
Right. But it doesn't stay.
It does not.
The cloud just blows with the wind a little bit,
Yeah. And I should tell you that we've taken videos 2 years in a row of Santa's Christmas party at our parents' house, and the videos are just they're heartwarming. All you got to do is go to.
Well, actually, you know what we'll do? We'll get Lee a copy, and you'll be seeing him as we're talking.
Oh, we could do that. Or if you want to watch the whole thing, you just go to Odyssey House YouTube page and look for Santa.
The guy that looks like Fred.
Yeah.
And there it's.
But
So let me give both you guys
Yeah,
some
sure.
praise here. What Odyssey House does, which is amazing, at any given point there are over 800 people in treatment, which is
Right.
just incredible.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, is what it is.
But it's a lot of people like
Yeah.
us who are in recovery. Not
It's a
me in
labor of
particular.
love. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's
Yeah, it's an amazing situation. But when we first, Randall and I met across the street at a 12-step program at their headquarters, and we
Right.
talked about doing this series, and I got Lee, who's another buddy of mine from recovery, and we went down and visited. And when you see the parents with children's facility, how amazing is that? That
it's
is
incredible.
It's hard not to kind of tear up when you see that.
And he brightens up the day so much. I mean, who wants to be in a treatment program at Christmas? I mean, come on, nobody.
Yeah.
And you really you bring so much joy. I've just been so impressed. And and Leo put some of the videos on top of what we're talking about right now. But you walk into the house and the whole
How lucky are you?
pretty darn.
Because literally,
Yeah.
there's the old TV series Cheers.
Yeah.
Sam and Rebecca were fighting, and he said she lights up a room when she leaves it. And you light up a room.
I might do that too. you
You
don't
light up a
know.
room when you walk in, and that is ultimately that's why we're put on this planet.
Oh, when I go and do these sorts of things, I told you that I have the best seat in the house, and I mean it. That is absolutely true. And part of what that means is that there are times, especially this last year, we went out and did a homeless chili feed, and people come up to me, and it's either like high fives, right? Or they break down and cry and tell me the problems that they are having or the challenges that they're facing and that sort of thing. And that's fine to be in the moment with them, and to help them and to say, okay, I understand that this is a hard thing that you're going through, but life, you talk about the pink cloud. Well, the pink cloud comes and it goes, but it can come again. Mm-hmm. And that's the important thing to understand. And
I have that for the pink cloud for 1 hour each week. Not with Randall. I mean,
okay. Yeah, who am I to judge?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Before we run out of time, I want to.
Sure.
Fred is not in recovery. Thank God, he never had to be in recovery. How did you get hooked up? I mean, because you do a lot of things with homeless people.
Yeah.
You do a lot of things at recovery places. So obviously you have an empathy there. What's the connection there if you're not in recovery?
The connection there is when I grew up, my dad had emphysema, and every year at Christmas time, he was a lot of times either in the hospital or in a coma or that sort of thing. And so I saw my parents struggle at Christmas time. And I saw, then dealing with him, and he died when I was 13. And so just dealing with all of that, actually, I grew up, I hated Christmas. Christmas was never a good time of the year for me. So I would get into depression. And one time about 5 years ago, I just decided that I'd had some legal issues, some lawsuit stuff going on, and this and that and the other
Santa,
thing. And
there was another Santa who was jealous of your look, and
oh yeah, I suppose that maybe that guy, yeah. So anyway, so I'm just going and I'm driving down the road thinking, okay, is there a place where I can just plow my car in and end it? And I go through the checklist and I say, okay, my wife, she'll be okay, and the kids are pretty much grown, and that sort of thing. And after I got through that, I said, I need help. And I started to get help. And that's about the time that my niece, Rachel, contacted me and got me involved with the recovery community over at Fit to Recover. And so I was, I was going there, and I was doing that for about a year with them. And I found out that there were people who had been in that same position, maybe for different reasons. Sure. But that's the position. And so while I never felt I had the street cred to say, well, but
10 years sober.
10 years sober, I can tell them I'm 60 years sober, but I want you to beat my record. Because that's the important thing. And it doesn't matter, what the past was, because that's the past. You move forward, and that's what I found is a group of people that had faced that and decided that they wanted to live. And so they don't take a lot of things for granted that other people did. So that's what got me started in this. And just real quickly, so what happened is then that following year, I didn't realize that, I had the look. Right, so I started in July.
You do have the look.
By the way, Fred doesn't own mirrors at his house.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
So I was, my son was living up in North Pole, Alaska, and I grew the beard to go visit them right up at North Pole. And I get in the car, and my granddaughter, she pulls my beard and says, "Grandpa, is that stuff gone?" And I said, "No, that's real, honey." And I got like 3 job offers, not to say, but one of them was at the Santa Claus house at North Pole. And then I came back and I started and I did some.
That's like moving to Hollywood to be an actor.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And get hired in a Scorsese.
Hey, whoa, hey.
Yeah.
So when I got back, I decided, I didn't decide. I did my usual December outreach for the homeless.
Right.
And we went to the road home, and the children came up and they just reacted. And so I just said, okay, this is something. And I found out that even in a time that can be tough, that you can still give a smile. And so that just got me started, and the ball got rolling, and then, more people got in touch with me, and next thing you know, I'm collecting teddy bears for things and doing outreach this and foster kid that. And
you're
that
so
sort of
good
thing.
at it.
And, you came in here. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back and talk to Fred a little bit more about what it's like to be the coolest guy in the room. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Odyssey House Journals. I'm Trip Mitchell. That is Randall Carlisle, and this is Fred,
the coolest guy in the room.
Coolest guy in the room.
I know.
No, you are.
Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus.
Come on.
So Fred,
can we sit on his lap and make a wish list for next December already?
When you started growing the beard, I mean, people with the white hair, did anyone ever, prior to the beard, notice the similarity, or is...
The beard makes that's what brings it together.
Were you clean shaven your whole life prior to that?
No, I'd had beards from, my beard used to be red.
Okay.
And so, back years ago, and then when it started to turn white, and I still have a little whatever, this and that and the other, but, once it turns white.
Doesn't hurt either. Do the ho ho ho. See, I mean, it's perfect.
Whoa!
But prior to the break, we learned that Fred went up to see his family in North Pole, Alaska, and got hired as Santa. That is...
Well, I got the job offer. I don't live here, so, what am I going to do? This little old lady, she comes up and she said, I'm waiting in line with the grandkids to see the Santa at North Pole. And this little old lady, she comes up, she's got the white hair and curls and stuff, and she goes, "Can you do the Santa Claus laugh for me?" And I go, ho, 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 ho.
And the other Santa over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sorry.
He's saying, get him out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you registered? And I said, oh, registered.
Is there a Santa Guild?
Oh, jeez. Once I figured it out, I'm at the rodeo like a year and a half ago. And this guy says, are you a member of the Real Bearded Santas? And I said, what in the world? They said there's this Facebook thing. It's got about a couple thousand members, and it's Real Bearded Santas. And then there's international Santas and stuff like that. And I keep getting these friend requests, especially around Christmas time. I get like about 1 or 2 a day from people all over the world.
That is funny.
Do the Santa stuff.
When I lived in Las Vegas, at my community, we had a community pool in this, maybe 150 homes in this development.
Right.
And one day in July, it's about 110, and I've got to do my NASCAR show that night. I'm out at the pool just relaxing, waiting to go do the show.
Right.
All of a sudden, Elvis has showed up. And there were 150 Elvises show up, but at a pool party, and they're all in polyester and not a real hair among them in terms of no dye.
Yeah, right.
Dye is, I mean, it was...
Yeah.
It was
have a blue
it was an Elvis moment. Yeah.
without you.
What is your day job?
I'm an engineer.
Are you the funnest engineer at most gatherings?
Always. Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course.
A lot of engineers go into entertainment.
Yeah.
Besides you, I can think of 0.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, short list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm surprised you haven't. Has any movie producers approached you?
I've been in commercials and stuff, but
Do you have an agent?
no. Do I need one?
I will
I
happily
don't
introduce
know.
you to my agent.
Okay.
She got me this gig.
Whoa, okay.
Which
so
just
there
is
you go.
zero
All
for
right.
free.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm worth every
I'm
penny.
used to the pay scale, so
Yeah.
this is working out.
yeah.
But so you're in a situation. Literally, I will introduce you to my agent because you could get lots of work. This is the Hallmark movies shoot all year long for Christmas here in
And
Salt
they
Lake.
shoot here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, one of the things is they tell me I need to put on weight for, Christmas. Oh, so like I'll be in a store and a mom will come up and she'll say, okay, my son here thinks that you must be Santa Claus's brother because Santa Claus has got a bigger belly. And so you look like Santa Claus, but you really can't be Santa Claus because, and I said, okay, well, that's fine.
Well, boy, that would be a horrible compliment to say you look too fit.
Well, so what I did was I did a Facebook page, High Fitness Santa. And so I do high fitness and I do Spartan races and
You
that
do
sort of
Spartan
thing.
races?
Oh yeah, done
What are
about
you, insane?
9 or 10. Yeah, well, okay. So I didn't think we were here to talk about that. But,
Spartan races are truly insane.
yeah,
So
they are.
You don't think that running is enough? Do it on bad surfaces, through mud, snow, uphills.
Yep. And lifting big rocks about like yay big and climbing ropes and going. Yeah.
He's an amazing guy, isn't he? I mean, that's why I thought we had to have him on, and he's just done so many good things for Odyssey House. I mean, it's so many. I'll run into graduates of our program, of our parents' program, and they all talk about what Christmas was like, and they talk about him.
Because and your background.
You've left a lasting memory.
That's a nice. That's wonderful. That's a great compliment.
But Fred, your
Thanks.
background is exactly my background, with the exception it was your father. It was my mother had emphysema.
Okay.
Was always in the hospital around
So
Christmas.
you
I dislike Christmas, and I still have a challenge with it.
know that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is exact. I don't look forward to Christmas. I don't like any. When I hear my first Christmas tune now in July,
It's Blue Christmas,
5th,
right?
Yeah. It drives me nuts. And our backgrounds are the same, but you have obviously come around and taken the gifts that you were given.
I hope so.
Well, there ain't no question.
Yeah. Well, because in the end, I want it to be about whoever it is I'm seeing, and that's to me the important thing. It's not, I mean, okay, fine, you get the attention, and my wife used to think, oh, he's doing it for the attention, and no, like I told you, I got the best seat in the house, and when I get to see people looking at me and having a visceral reaction that's good, and it's a symbol and it brings hope and that sort of thing, I say, well, why not? Why not want to do that? So it's highly rewarding.
Before we end this, how do you deal
Yeah.
with a kid who's crying out of there because they're scared of you, and they, sitting there, oh no,
so-
Santa!
Yeah.
By the way, that was some great acting.
Yeah, that was great.
Whoa,
I was going to
yeah.
hop in his arms.
Oh, you're good. Oh, yeah. If that's what it takes. No, so what happened? No, to me, what happens is the parents, they get all amped up, right? And, oh, you know, and they keep pushing it. No, let's relax a minute, right? Take a step back. And then I do the, okay, Dad, give me 5. Okay, Mom, give me, you know. And then brother and sister and whatever. And then I come to them, and usually they come around and they say, okay, it's just a matter of getting acclimated familiarity and that sort of thing. But there was one kid that the mom kept pushing and that sort of thing this last year. He's about 6 years old. And at the end I said, okay, let's get the picture. And, the crying kid. And just know that in 20 years, you'll be showing this at the wedding.
That's true.
And it's going to, so, okay, that kind of stuff happens.
That's a good way to look at it.
Well, Fred, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
hey,
sure.
what we want to do before we go is give the number at Odyssey House. And it is
801-322-3222. You can say it with a deeper voice.
Yeah,
go ahead.
801-322-3222.
You got the job. I'm gone.
Yo.
How come this is our 54th show and I never remember the number, but that's another story. But this is a show really about addiction, recovery, and having all of us who work on the show, this is our labor of love. We do this to give back to the community, but there's some great people out there. If you've got questions, call that number. And they'll kind of send you to the people that could probably help you the most.
Sure.
And there are thousands of people in Utah who are dedicated to getting you get sober, get off drugs, and have a much, much better life.
And remember, you can.
Thank you so much.
If you're watching it on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever, you can also listen to it on Spotify and iTunes.
And do us a favor, favorite it, write any comments,
Yeah,
reviews.
subscribe, share it, because we want to spread the word all over the world.
So we've had 100,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that, and that's amazing. I want to thank Lee, who does all the hard work. Last week's guest, Pompous Albert.
Yes.
Pompous
Albert the cat, thousands of views.
301,000 Instagram followers.
That's for a cat.
Yeah, I know. That's a cool cat, right?
But it's a cool cat.
Fred, I don't want to say anything, but you were in the same taping day as Albert. Who went first and who went second?
Santa.
All I know, I already told you that, when he goes to the great cat beyond, I got a new hat.
On that horrible note, we'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.